Good morning. Here is the video for our NTI day 2 for third block. All right, so our first example is 6x squared minus 25x plus 25. So first thing we look for is the greatest common factor. Obviously 25, the only factors of 25 are 5. And since 5 does not go into 6, there is no GCF. So we're going straight to our X puzzle. Remember, in the top of our X, we have our A times our C, which is our first term, times our last term. So 6x squared times 25, we get 150x squared. And then in the bottom of our X is our B term, which is our middle term. So we have negative 25x. Okay, so now we're going to go to our calculator so we can find what factors of 150 will add to negative 25. Close the add. So we're going to y equals, and we're doing 150 divided by x. 150 divided by x plus x. X. There we go. So now we need to go to our table of points, which is the second function of our graph button. So second graph. We're looking in the third column that's red here, our y2 column. And remember, we're looking for what was it? Negative 25. Yeah, that's what it was. So we need to go up. So I'm going to go up here until I see negative 25. There it is. Negative 10 and negative 15. So we're going to go back to our notes page. And we have negative 10 and negative 15. Remember, whatever the variable is in the bottom of our X is what we bring up. So it's just 1x. So this right here are the pieces that are going into our box. Our first term is 6x squared. That goes in our first box. Our last term is 25. That goes in our last box. And the two pieces from our X puzzle go into the diagonal. Order doesn't matter, so negative 10x and negative 15x. All right, so right now we are looking at our first row, that's 6x squared minus 10x. So we need the greatest common factor. If you don't know what the greatest common factor is of 6 and 10, remember, you can use your calculator to help you. So let's switch back over to our calculator to review how to do that. Remember, to get out of the table, you just have to quit, which is second mode. And to get to our GCD menu, remember, it's math, arrow over once to the number menu, and it's option 9. And then we're going to put in, what did I say it was? 6 and 10, 6, and then comma 10. Remember, can't put negative numbers into this or it will give you an error. You have to do the negative part on your own. So our greatest common factor here is 2. All right, so we have a 2, and then we have an x squared and an x, so therefore we can also take out an x. Now we're going to move to our second row. So we have negative 15x and 25. So I know both of those are divisible by 5 as they end in either a 5 or a 0. And then we know it's going to be negative because of this negative here on the first box. If the first box is negative, you take out a negative. So we have a negative 5. So now we're going to look at our first column. 6x squared and negative 15x. Again, you can use the GCD function if you need to on your calculator, but I know both of these are divisible by 3, and that I can also take out an x. Next, we're going to move to our second column, the 10x, negative 10x, and our 25. Again, both of those are divisible by 5. And then because our first box is negative, we're taking out a negative 5. Now we can check to make sure we did this right. 2x times negative 5 does give us negative 10x. Negative 5 times negative 5 does give us a positive 25, so we know we factored correctly. So our solution here is parentheses negative 3x minus 5, and in parentheses 2x minus 5. This is our completely factored solution. All right, let's look at our second example for the day. All right, we have 6x squared minus 23x plus 7. Move that out of the way. All right, so again, there's no greatest common factor because 7 is a prime number and it is not divisible into 6 or 23. So we're going to go straight to our x puzzle. So first term times our last term, we get 42x squared. And then in the bottom of our x puzzle is our middle term, that negative 23x. Since our top is positive and our bottom is negative, I know that there's going to be two negative numbers that we're taking factor of. You can go ahead and put this into your calculator, do the y equals and do 42 divided by x. And then in the y2, you're going to put the 42 divided by x plus x. I know that the factors are negative 2 and negative 21, but please use the calculator if you need it. So now we're going to take the variables from the bottom of the x. Since it's just an x, they both get an x. And those are the two pieces that will go into our box. And then we know the first term goes in our first box. The last term goes in our last box. And then the two pieces from our x puzzle, negative 2x and negative 21x. All right, we're looking at our first row now. That's 6x squared and the negative 2x. We know we can divide both of those by 2, and we can take out a common x. Remember, you can use your calculator and the GCD function to help you with that if you struggle with the numbers. And then negative 21x and 7, those are both divisible by 7, and since our first box is negative, it's a negative 7. So now we're going to look at our first column here. The 6x squared and the negative 21x, both of those are divisible by 3, and we can take out one common x. And then you could stop to double check that you did it right if you're not sure. 3x times 2x is 6x squared. 3x times negative 7 is negative 21x. So now we're going to go to our second column, and negative 2 and 7 only have a 1 in common. And since our first box is negative, it's going to be a negative 1. So now we know 3x minus 1 in parentheses and 2x minus 7 in parentheses is our solution. All right, guys, make sure you get yesterday's and today's assignment finished and turned in on Google Classroom, or keep the work so you can turn it in when I see you, hopefully Monday. But who knows with all the snow we're getting. I hope all of you stay safe and warm this weekend, and you have a great day. Bye, guys.